There's a picture hanging on the wall in a living room of a place I once called home. It's a portrait of a family that we made when we used to get along. It showed Tammy's red hair shining and Jenny's face lit up like a springtime day. All with you and me there smiling makes you wonder how we...
This is Cheryl Rogers. What class did you graduate?
1962.
1962.
That makes me 70, almost 40.
Now you were in the class with who?
I was in the class with Sarah Peak and Charles McKinney, he's here, and Dorothy Stevens that you just talked to. She and I graduated together.
This is Gerald Russ. What grade did you graduate?
I did.
You didn't graduate, but you went to Anonna.
I went to Anonna.
You went to Anonna.
I graduated Box Elder.
Okay, Box Elder. A lot of them went to graduated Clarksville, Box Elder, Anonna, and stuff like that. And how many years have you known Gerald?
More than we can count in it.
I guarantee you.
We grew up together. We
was neighbors.
They'd stay at my house, I'd stay at their house. We lived down the road.
And this is Gerald Russ. And now these Russ too. Now who are all these beautiful women?
This is my younger brother.
Oh, your younger brother. And this is Miss Bobby. Miss Bobby Russ. Yeah,
I
and
want to be on camera.
well, this way you'll have it.
This is my friend Jane Ann.
This is
graduated
Jane.
with me.
And this is Donna.
I'm Bobby's oldest daughter.
Bobby's oldest daughter. Okay. Okay. Are y'all having fun yet? Wait. This is Joe McGregor. This is Coy's wife, Joe. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in Clarksville in 61.
But Coy graduated from Anonna
In 61.
In 61. Okay. And so y'all have had how many of these?
This is the first for Anonna.
All for Anonna.
I mean, not the first. They had one 3 years ago, but this is the first annual one we started.
This is Kathy Garrison.
Hi, how are y'all?
And did you graduate? Oh,
Lee, my husband, graduated from Anonna in 1971. Not Anonna,
71.
he graduated in 71 from Clarksville, but 1965 was the last year in Anonna. All of his sisters and brothers graduated.
We're here with Lee Garrison. What you graduated in 71 from
Well, I graduated from Clarksville,
Clarksville. Okay, come here, Coy.
but I went to school till 8th grade in Anonna.
Right, and this is Kathy Garrison's husband that we just interviewed, Kathy, just a few minutes ago. And this man has lots of stories to tell, and we're not going to do that
No,
right
no,
now.
we're not going to tell them stories.
No, not right now.
We'll wait.
Yep, we're going to wait. This is Charlie McKinney. My husband loves this man. He's known you for how many years, Charlie? Almost all your life. Did you graduate from Anonna? What year?
I graduated.
62. Okay. Well, Chuck has told me a bunch of stories about Charlie, and we are definitely not going to be telling those today either. But he's thrilled that Charlie made it, and he's here. Have you visited with him yet? It's been some crazy. Okay.
This man right here, I grew up working for his daddy. He'd take me to Texarkana and I'd sell watermelons. You remember that? He'd work with watermelons. Raising them big old watermelons. Then Charlie, he'd come pick me up at the house. And he'd be driving his daddy's new pickup. And Charlie liked to drag race. And so we had the bridges between Anonna and Box Elder, and he'd go in there and he'd want me to time him, and he'd just, I don't know how many transmissions you tore up, but
You can't remember, kid.
you talking about a ladies' man? This here's a ladies' man right here.
I heard he was the best looking one in his class. He still is. Now this is Coy McGregor. He's the one that put this on today for all. Now what class did you graduate in?
1961.
Big basketball player right here.
We have had lots of fun doing this.
Yep.
A lot of fun.
He's Joe McGregor's husband, the one I had on here a while ago. So big turnout, lots of food.
Well, I had a dream this morning or last night, and I dreamed that nobody came.
Well, you dreamed the life.
So we're pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, this is Miss Virginia. This is Janita's sister, but you graduated in
57.
57. 57. She don't look like it, does she?
I was a
Beautiful lady right here, inside and out.
salutatorian of my class. We were a very small class. We don't have many left. As a matter of fact, I think we only have like 6 or 8 people here.
This is Miss Bobby. You graduated in 1963. See, these ladies don't look like they should be graduated that soon. They're all so young and pretty. But thank you. Thank you. Serious. I'm not just saying that.
Well, that's nice to hear.
How many was in your class?
There was 13 in my graduating class.
And this is Miss Bobby.
Betty.
I mean, Betty Kelso.
Betty Metz Kelso.
And how many still in your class?
Have you graduated with
Yeah.
17.
This is Janita McGregor. This is Coy's sister-in-law, but the McGregors are the ones that put all this on. And Janita, you graduated in what class?
1958.
See, they don't look that old. They don't look like they need to be graduating in 1958. You look beautiful as always.
Well, thank you, Cynthia.
She does, she does. And you've lived here your whole life, right?
Well, now, you know I lived in Georgia 8
did.
years, and I lived in Dallas for 10 years.
And then she's moved back here.
And we're going to stay here, hopefully.
I've been trying to get her to move to Paris, but I don't think that's going to work.
That could happen in a
could
few
happen.
years. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, y'all
Anyway,
put on, look at this. I mean, it looks like a big success.
very successful.
You'll come over and tell us a few stories about Jane L. O'Neill?
No, because I'm afraid you'll tell some on me.
Ah,
And I will.
you have quite a few, don't you?
Both.
What?
Both.
Did you go to Anonna or did you go to Box Elder?
He was in the grade behind me.
I graduated first
Clarksville. Okay, so that was the last.
But
Okay.
he was a junior.
when he was senior.
Okay.
So he's always been much older than I.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Much,
Yeah.
yeah, much older.
Did you graduate from here? All right. This is Miss Joanna.
John Anna.
John Anna.
Bristow.
Okay. And did you graduate from Anonna or Clarksville or
No.
Anonna?
Went to another school.
So what grade?
I left my sophomore year.
Okay. So she was in Anonna. Okay. Have you lived here your whole life? I'm Chuck's wife.
Chuck.
Okay. 64 right here. This is Bruce. This is Tim. And that's Bob.
They quit when I was in the 4th grade.
Probably so.
That's right.
Now, are all 3 of y'all from here? From Anonna, or Clarksville, or
Yeah.
Avery, or
Not
Anonna?
Avery. Yeah.
Okay, not Avery, but y'all. Is that a rival? He said it like,
Yeah.
Not Avery.
Was he?
where are you from, Bob?
Well, I lived in Avery for 5 years and then I moved to Anonna.
All right.
They leave.
But are you originally from
Red River County.
Red River County? Okay. And you graduated in what class, Miss Vivian?
1965.
65. So are you originally from here? You live here and stayed here?
No, I was born here, but no, I do not live here.
Where do you live now?
We live in Terrell.
Oh, okay. Terrell, Texas is where they live. Don, you graduated in class of 65 from Anonna, right? Are you originally from here?
Anonna.
Yeah. Are you, and this is your lovely wife?
Yeah.
It is?
Naomi.
It's the only one you ever had?
Well, yeah.
This is Ron Lawler from
Okay, it's your nephew? I thought you was his son.
This is my namesake.
This is his mother, Karen. Really? Karen Lawler from Riverside,
Where'd you go to
California.
school?
No, I think.
This is Miss Nancy. She's responsible for a lot of these decorations and all that. She worked real hard yesterday. And you graduated what class?
1959.
59. Are you originally from here? I mean, you grew up
Yes.
here and you stayed here. You never left.
No.
Bless you.
No, never did.
Bless you.
There was 12 in our class. We were the dirty dozen.
Is this your husband?
This is my husband. This is Hayes Alston.
How many years?
58.
58 years. Harry, we're going to interview you.
Oh my word.
Now you were class of what? 44. 44. Did you get that, Ryan? 44. My goodness. And this is Faye. This is Faye Haynes. She is Dot Stevens' sister. We're friends on Facebook. We never met, but now we're face to face, and we just finally met. And you graduated what?
64.
64.
The year Chuck graduated, 65, and then Doc was 2 years ahead of me.
That's right. So were y'all buddies, big buddies, you and Chuck? Or?
Yeah, we were good friends, and Doc was good friends with him and all that. So he's a good kid. You know, he's younger than I am. He's a kid.
Yeah. This is a sweet woman right here.
No.
Yes, you are. And what year did you graduate?
1964.
64. Same with you.
Yeah. 64.
Now you are
Barbara's Brain Skaggs.
right, but now you have lots of stories to tell, and we're not going to get into all of them right now.
No, you better not.
some stories are left
Because some of them I got sent home before.
And you are Miss Betty. All righty. Now, where do you live now, Miss Betty?
I live in Prosper, which is just north of Frisco and McKinney.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Betty.
Let me just begin by welcoming all of you and letting you know how welcome you are. Sincere I am about the efforts that you all put forth to get here. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Coy McGregor in the class of 1961. There's somebody here besides me. I don't need any. I can do better without them, so I'll just do this. Now, let me first of all, we have got a kind of a hard act to follow. With all of you know Crockett Simmons and how he put this thing on for years, and he gave it up 3 years ago, and we kind of thought that it might be. But Bobby Lum and I got together, and some of them told us before the last deal that we need to keep it going for a while longer. So we've seen enough interest that Bobby Lum and I got together and thought, well, we'll just do this thing and see if we can't carry it on for a while longer. And we kind of thought, well, maybe the transition will go pretty smoothly, you know. So about a month after Crockett finished his last reunion, I gave him a call and I told him, I said, Crockett, we've decided that we might, you know, if you really want to give this thing up now, we'll take it and see what we can do with it. We know we can't do what you do, but we'll get together and visit, you know. So anyway, the transition kind of went like this. I didn't hear from him about a year. And I run into Bobby Lum and Wanda Varley, and I said, well, I still haven't heard from Crockett. And I said, I don't believe he really wants to give it up, y'all. They said, well, he might not. He loves Anonna High School, let me tell you. But listen, we know we got big shoes to fill, and I would like for Crockett to stand up one more time. That's all we're going to do. One more time and give him a big hand.
Hey, it sure is a lot nicer sitting over here than being where you are. But that was a good story. If I'd have thought about that, that's the way we would exchange that. But I really appreciate you guys taking it on and continuing. And this is better than anything I've ever seen. So you're doing a good job. Thank you much.
We set aside a little bit of time to just recognize a few of the people that helped us with this. And number one on the list is Wanda Varley. Wanda, would you please stand? Mac's in the hospital right now, but Mac and Wanda have been instrumental in us getting the church, and we were even members of the church for quite a few years at one time, but there's some good people here, and we really appreciate you helping us with the church and the building and getting that schedule and everything. And not only that, she made most all the meetings until Mac kind of went by the wayside. But he's doing good, I understand, right? Okay, good. And Bobby Cheney Lum, stand if you're able. Where is she at? There she is. There she is. Thank you, Bobby. And Linda Metz, Poteet. Thank you for your help. Barbara Rain Skaggs. And John Ed Garrett, he's not here. He threw us a curveball right about a week ago. You'll notice his name's on the program, but that rascal called me and he said, I don't know how I'm going to tell you this, but his wife pulled ranked on him, and they ended up with I think a 50th anniversary in Lubbock somewhere with her folks. And he said, I hate to do it. I said, well, if you between your wife and us, gotta be your wife. So anyway, John Ed helped us right up until, he's real supportive. Doug McGregor and Janita Conyers McGregor. Janita put together a registry for us, and what a job, Appreciate them. And Hillbill and Nancy Goodwin Austin. I gave her a job when John Ed bailed out, and now she comes up and tells me she can't, her throat's gone, her voice is gone. Anyway, like I say, we'll wing it. If you were a class representative, please stand. See, there you go. Thank you very, very much. I tell you, I'd like to holler at the kitchen help. Come up and stand in that door right there. So that's my youngest daughter there on the left, Stacy Taylor, and that's my granddaughter, the A&M Capone, Kaylee Taylor. And there's two more back there somewhere. The oldest daughter is Angie Duran. There she is in the next door. And my oldest granddaughter, Taylor Blevins. Hey, thank you. Anyway, when we do recognize the classes a little later on, that we'll have a cordless mic out there. David, yeah, there he is. David will be sticking that up to anybody wants to say something. But let me remind you that think of something that happened in school or in your class that you'd like to share. And let me give you an example. The things that came to mind when I came to Anonna from Box Elder, I can remember Bobby Puckett having a 58 Impala. I had a 55 Chevrolet, and we used to go down to the Twin Bridges there and see who could beat each other across those bridges. I can remember Hickey Conyers and George Puckett screaming to the top of their voice up in those stands that Hubbard McDuffie could not make the right call. I mean that's the thing, and I can hear them over everybody else screaming. That's little things like that. Now, y'all think about stuff like that. I can remember Coach Blake running us up and down the court in a scrimmage and yanking me out and giving me the whistle, and him getting in my place and showing me how to block out and how to kick the ball out to Bobby Puckett. And let me tell you something. Bobby could lay the ball right here on his shoulder and hit it about 50% of the time from that, what we call the three-point line now. We had back then, but anyway, you guys remember that when you ask your classes 10, I want to hear some stuff like that, okay? All right. Now, to start the main part of the program, I'm going to ask Favor to come up, if she will, and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Bear. Now I'm going to ask Coach Blake if he will come up and I believe that food was good enough, so he'll give her an invocation and maybe include a blessing in there. So
come over here, side by side of me. Go with me back to 1959. I'm a young kid right out of college having my first team. You know, I walked out to watch the first practice. I expected to look up. I looked down at every single one of them. But I had to have a center, a postman. So I watched the kids several days, and I saw this one kid that could really, really jump. And I went to him, and this is what I said. Coy, I need a center, and you're the best prospect. What do you think? You know what he said? Coach Blake, if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. Let us pray. Kind Heavenly Father, we come today to remember a great time in the lives of all of us. A time when students respected students. A time when teachers respected teachers. And a time when students respected the teachers, and the teachers in turn respected the students. You've given us so much, so many memories, and so many bonds that we could not thank you enough for the great memories that you have built for us. We thank you for the food we've had. Thank everyone who brought it, and God forgive us for each time we failed you. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Okay, at this time, what we'd like to do is remember some of those who have gone on before us. Mac Blum, Lonnie Jones, Charles Conyers, O.T. Cheney, Louis Edward Peake, Francis Evans Hill, Billy Otto Roberts, Mavis Cassidy Kennedy, Wayne Story, Evelyn Hall McCullough, Charlene Aiken, Athamati Blair Brantley, Wilda Peacock O'Neill, Gary O'Neill, Ben Ray Peake, Kenneth Maroney, Bobby June Mills, Mary Jo Hardman Hanson, Virginia Garrison Denny, Charlene Morrison Coco, Mary Ann Baker Peters, Louise Grant Brown, Oline Ogilvy, Martha Johnson, Henry Stevens, Paul Henry Butts, Maxine Warden Mills, Charlotte Parchman Sanchez, Anna Jo Kaufman Hester, Dorothy Gaddish Shimpock, Barney Bell Peake Moore, Margie Porter Franklin, Eulalia Sullivan Black, Emma Ruth Rollins Smith, Raymond Williams, Jean Dunlap, Barbara McGregor Adlott. And now we'll have a moment of silence in honor of those. Thank you very much. Now, what we'd like to do now is see how many teachers and coaches and we have with us and recognize those.
You got it. Stand up.
Stand up, young lady. All right. Mary Catherine, would you like to say anything?
No, I just wanted to reiterate what you had said earlier, the respect that was shown back then. I'm glad my teaching experience occurred back then.
Thank you. We really appreciate our teachers. I think of Charlene Graves walking up behind me in the study hall and grabbing me by pinching me in the backside of your arm, the tender part of your arm, and wouldn't let go. I mean, she'd twist. And for something I did the day before, I thought I'd gotten away with it. But man, that's kind of, I'm telling you, what memories. I know now, Coach Blake, you already stood up once, but
I forgot to say a while ago that even though they were short, they were good. And they turned out to be the 1959-1960 champs of our district. No loss in district.
And I can't think of another guy other than my mom and dad that had more influence on me when I lived there. Is anybody else the last class that was it at Anonna before it closed down? That's in 1965.
Representation of 65.
Absolutely.
And you know, this class always loves to come here to these reunions. And you know why? We'll always be the youngest. So we all had many wonderful days at Anonna High School. One of the things that I remember, and I'm sure no one else was involved, there were probably just a few of us, they had made some rule that we weren't just really fond of. I can't remember what it was. It was something about having to go to the gym, I believe, immediately after leaving the cafeteria, and we couldn't wander around like we wanted to. So the next day, after that rule came out, all of us decided, well, many of us, I should say, only the troublemakers, decided that we were going to wear jeans, well, dark jeans, and we were going to take chalk, and we were going to put a chalk stripe down our jeans legs, resembling stripes of prisoners. So we did get in a little trouble for that, but, you know, compared to today, that was a minor thing. And you wanted me to share something else?
Well, if anybody in the class wants to.
Sure. I do remember one afternoon in 1963, I was in study hall, and several of our class members were in study hall that afternoon. And the speaker came on, and Mr. Hood came on. He said he had an announcement to make. And President Kennedy had been assassinated in Dallas. And I don't think we'll ever forget that. I can tell you who was at my table. Ann Puckett, Bradley Butts, and Jimmy Edrington and I were sitting at the same table. And I think Janice Kay was in the study hall. That's right. Yeah. And then there was chemistry instructor, Leon Blake, and I cried every day for 6 weeks saying, Mother, I want to drop that class. I want to drop the class. I'm not going to do well, and I want to get out of there. It was a fun class after I accepted the fact that I was not going to be allowed to drop it. And I went on to take a college chemistry class, and I will tell you, because of Leon Blake, I didn't even have to open a textbook, rarely ever there. So he was a wonderful instructor. We had wonderful instructors in Anonna, and we know that, and we appreciate that. Mrs. Peak, Mother wouldn't let me cook, but Mrs. Peak taught me to cook. Yes, right. So we had wonderful instructors. They loved us and we loved them for the most part. Margie Hardeman, let me tell you one little thing and then Margie Hardeman, just like Ann right here, would have her glasses on top of her head. I'm sure you all remember this too when you had her. And she would say, "Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses?" "We don't know, Miss Margie. We don't know, Miss Margie." And she would wander around the classroom for approximately 10 minutes trying to find the glasses. And then she'd go, "Oh, and they've been there all along, and you knew that." And we'd repeat the same deal the next day. But she was a smart math instructor. E.G. Lum, we could not find a sentence that he could not diagram, and we tried hard. It was like a game. We found one, "Mr. Lum, you can't do." He said, "I doubt it, but let's see."
If anybody remembers but me, but over the speaker, Mr. Stewart was our custodian, and one day he came over the speaker and he said, "Mr. Hood, the cafeteria's on fire." And I might be the only one that remembers that.
But he wasn't excited.
Thank you, Carolyn. 1964.
Trip.
Oh, no, tell everything.
We stayed in Hot Springs, Arkansas, in an Avenel motel with a swimming pool. And we had vibrating beds in our room. And so the boys
1963.
And so late that afternoon, after we had all been swimming, we decided to all get in the room with vibrating bed. We ran out of quarters. That's all for me.
That's enough.
One of my fondest memories of Anonna High School was getting to drive Charlie Jeff Jones's pickup to run errands for him, and we would see how fast we could take off and how much rubber we could lay down with it. Of course, he didn't know that.
There's lots of memories when you look back and think of all the teachers that had an important part in your life. So it's just amazing that the way things are now and the way things were then, how different they are, but in so many ways, how much they're the same. And we all had a good time here. You seemed like you couldn't wait till you got out of school. Now, you might want to be bad, but yeah. But there's lots and lots of memories. You could just talk and talk and talk forever. But it was, it's a blessing and an honor to graduate from Anonna. Yeah.
I'm Betty Hausler. I didn't graduate from Anonna because we consolidated with the Clarksville schools, and I only went there through 8th grade. But I'll touch on just a couple of things that I know affected all of you. One was the wonderful school lunches that the ladies prepared in that little white house out beside the school. The things that they feed the kids now are just atrocious compared to the delicious homemade yeast rolls and cobblers and chocolate pies. Oh, just everything was wonderful. And then things are revolving around food here. But the little candy store that was under the stairwell at the schools, at the high school, and getting an ice cold Coca-Cola and pouring a package of salted peanuts in those and drinking that. Wasn't that the best thing?
Thank you.
The only three that I know is here is Jimmy Dean and Bob Harvey. Is Jimmy still here? But there was 13 in our class. Well, I came from Box Elder, and I'm telling you, going from Box Elder seemed like a country school, and we thought we were going to town when we went to Anonna. It was just a different place altogether. But I want to tell you, I enjoyed school at Anonna so very much. The day that I graduated, I would have turned around and gone back through those last 2 years again. I enjoyed it that much. Every teacher I had, Mr. Blake, Miss Peak, Miss Virginia Peak, Mr. E.G. Long, I can't even, all of them. They were just, and Charlie Joe Jones, he was our room teacher, and Howell homeroom teacher. My word, that was, I couldn't even tell you how much fun that was. And the things that we did and how we could, it was just a fun time. I just loved it. And we did appreciate our teachers, and our teachers appreciated us. It was just a different time. And Ms. P taught me so much. And in fact, her teaching me to sew has just been something that I've done all these years. So whatever I learned at Anonna, it was good, and it was great. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bobby. 1962.
One of the things that I remember, Miss Graves was my basketball coach when I was a freshman, and she would not allow us to eat sweet or drink the sweet colas. Well, the candy store, as someone mentioned, was underneath the stairs. So one day I was halfway in the candy store, and I felt something hit me on the back. And I looked up, and Miss Graves was standing up there on the stairs. She got me. And then Miss Peak would not let us wear jeans to class. She was our homemaking teacher. So if we wore jeans that day, we'd roll them up and wear our skirts over the jeans so we'd get a good grade for the day. Otherwise, we failed the day. And Mr. Blake, I so well remember whenever you came to Anonna, and what a gentleman. You were a principal, and I was an aide for you, and how I loved working with you. And going to the basketball games with you. And then you were our senior sponsor, along with Miss Peak. God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you, Don. 1961. You were going to be the speaker. They've heard enough of me.
Okay, I'll share a memory. My sister Johnetta and I, one day, we just decided we'd just take a little day off from school. So we got in our daddy's old pickup, and we drove to Clarksville and parked it. And we were crossing the street towards the Alps Cafe. Do you remember where that was? And this school bus drove up and stopped at the light, and Mr. Blake was driving it, our principal. And we just scurried across the street. And the next day he called us in the office and he said, well, I'm going to give you a choice. You can take licks or you can write 10,000 times. I will not skip school. I don't remember how many, but we spent the entire weekend secretly writing so Daddy wouldn't see. He would have whooped us good, that's for sure. So that's my memory.
I just remember being, 12 years with a bunch of us that we were like family, and we had great teachers, great friends, great memories.
I guess the only memory that just popped in my mind when Coy said that was about my sister Betty and her dear friend Byra. One day, the teacher came to the classroom door that I was in, and they said, do you know what happened to Betty? I said, no. And she said she didn't come back from recess. So I went out to the playground, and there was Byra and Betty just swinging as happy as they could be. They had no idea everyone else had gone in.
Thank you.
Could I tell a story about one of those youngsters?
You sure can.
His name was BJP. He's deceased now. Wonderful young man. Played ball with a coin. But anyway, he loved to have fun. And Mrs. Graves and I carry the seniors to Galveston. First restaurant we go in, he's got his little plastic vomit. He puts it on the table and the waitress comes up. He said, "Ma'am, look. So she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, and apologize and try to move it, Then, of course, BJ laughed. Went to the next restaurant, same thing happened. Went to the third restaurant, he did that. That little lady said, and he said, "Ma'am, look at that. Would you do something about this?" She said, "Oh, sure I will." Now, what can I get you to eat?
1959.
Nancy and where's Billy Williams? I'm sure Billy Williams has got some stories. I just remember Ms. Graves, for one thing, she was always really nice to us. Of course, we had a good ball teams. I went to Box Elder 10 years, and then, like I say, when we felt we could go upstairs, that was a blessing. We thought we were in the city. And it's the only time I'd been on a school bus, I think, except for ball games. But I remember one night, the ball teams were coming from down close to DeKalb somewhere to play. And they had the same colors as Box Elder, I remember that. So that big DeKalb. On the way back, on the way back, the girls, we had just won. We went to district, we went to Kilgore to play for regionals that year, I think. But anyway, on the way back, we were really feeling raunchy. So we all took our bras and waved them out the window. And I remember another time, I don't know, I tore my pants or something. I was always really active in school. But Mrs. Graves loaned me and someone else, I think Janice maybe, Pete, got to ride with me all the way to go to Box Elder and change clothes and come back. I got to drive her car. I couldn't imagine, I probably didn't even have a license. Yes, I think I did. Since I was 14, 110 pounds, I remember that.
Can everybody hear me and see me? We've been graduated 60 years. Can y'all believe that? There was 26 of us that graduated, and we still got 15 of us standing up straight, and we got 8 here today. And, I don't know if I was called y'all's name or not, but we got Shirley, Metz, Earl Bratton, Billy, Marie, Clark, and Martha Sue, Bucket, Rust, and Janita McGregor. By the way, we met on the school bus and got married. Got married at recess one day. Dorothy Johnson and Cleveland Lawson. And I know we're eating up a lot of time, but the memory I have kind of goes along with what Vera and them had over there. Us Box Elder kids came to Anonna, and we were used to breaking rules and getting away with it down there at Box Elder. But we got to Anonna, and all the rest of the class got to go to Clarksville and sell ads that day. But us boys like Marshall, McKinney, and Earl Bratton, and me, we didn't get to go because we wasn't a member of the Glee Club or whatever it was. So we said, this ain't right. Let's have to stay here. So there's a pickup come down the road going about 10 miles an hour. We hopped in it and went to Clarksville. And didn't come back. But the next day, in the English class, is upstairs, Miss Graves, so somebody came on the thing. Earl Bratton come to the office. And I said, uh-oh. So he goes down. And Earl probably can't remember what happened. Mr. Hood and Billy West Daniels was in there. And so they give us a choice. You can take leaks or go home or quit school or whatever. So we'd already made up, let's don't let them book us. Let's don't let them book us. And so, anyway, Earl came on back up, and I think he gave in. he then Mr. Hood whipped him. So he come on back in English class. Morris, Lynn, McKinney come to the office. So he went down. I said, don't let him whoop me now. And so we went down a little while. He came back, and then he called my name, and I met Morris Lynn coming up the stairs. And I said, did you let him whip you? And he said, yeah, no, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But when I got there, it was Billy West to give me the choice. And we negotiated for a little while, but not too long, you know. And then finally, he gave me the worst that I'd ever had. Anyway, that's how I remember him. So,
Thank you, Dad.
I suppose that we must have been a pretty nice bunch. I don't remember the kind of tales like these others. But, you know, one thing that I think about a lot is that old study hall. You know, it'd be hot up there and you have all those windows, you know, the big old windows with the raised up to try to get some air in there. And we'd sit in those windows. Now that bound to have been violating some kind of state rule. They didn't have any screen started. I mean, we'd sit and try to get some air, you know, it was hot up there. And I remember that study hall. But I suppose that we were just sort of a tame class compared to 58, of course. But I tried to get them to tell me some stories, and I don't remember some stories. I remember that several people have commented about teachers and how they respected their teachers, and I will tell you this: I became a teacher. I became a math teacher, and then principal, and then superintendent of the school. And I don't know, I can't remember when it was came across me to remember my teachers from Anonna. And so I did, and one day I sat down and I started writing letters. And I wrote letters. I do remember Mrs. Graves more. She was very excited about getting a letter from me telling her how much she helped me. So I don't know if any of your teachers are still alive or not. If they are, write them a letter.
I remember the junior and senior banquets. No one's mentioned those, but the juniors always raised money for the seniors to have a banquet. And of course we didn't go, but the seniors were honored to have a banquet and dress up. And when we became a senior, the juniors behind us supported us, and we went to the Alps Cafe. Y'all remember the Alps? And I remember I stole a little cream pitcher. I still have it, but I stole it as a memory. And basketball was real important to all of us. We went to one district in 56, and Wanda was my guard in practice all the time. I really gave her a rough time. Amen. And she will tell you. But I think we had the best class. Y'all may think the same thing, but we did have a wonderful group of boys and girls. We didn't get in trouble. And I let Wanda have the floor.
I'm Bobby Presley. And Ramona and Wanda and Hubert. I don't see Glenn no more. Anyway, I remember Miss Charlene Graves when she first came there to the school. And Miss Charlene Graves was told by other teachers that you need to watch Bobby Presley. So she had us in the auditorium, and I was sitting way back in the auditorium, and she was up there, Miss Graves had given us what it was going to be like. And I was sitting there with my arms folded like this. And I said, And that lady heard me.
And years later, she told me, she said, I heard you back there, and you said, And she said, all these other teachers told me that Bear Watch will be president. She said, that was nothing but a story. She said, I was one of the kindest boys she ever heard, or seen, or had to teach. And of course, she was a favorite teacher. And of course, I remember a lot of other things, but I don't think I'll tell you. I didn't thank you very much. Nice pleasure being here.
Later on, I said to my husband, maybe I should go. This might be my last one.
Maybe that's why there's so many here.
My memory relates to some of the efforts that we used to do under the ag teacher, Mr. Howard Horn. And I'm sure a lot of the other classes have similar memories because you probably did the same thing for years. But Mr. Horn would sometimes take us out to where a farmer was requesting an opportunity for us to get some on-the-job training to do some delicate surgery on the south end of a northbound calf, if you understand my meaning, or dehorn cows where we were in a pen full of cows that had just been dehorned, spraying blood in every direction and soaking our clothes in those. But it was a benefit to us because we learned some things that I never did use, but which was very helpful to a lot of people, and it was appreciated greatly by the farmers and ranchers in the direction. My one particular memory, I recall that we were asked to come down to, I believe it was Mr. Olin Parchman's place, who had a big boar who needed some of that surgery I was talking about a minute ago done. And when we thought, okay, that sounds like, let's go do it. So he always hauled us in the back of his pickup with high sideboards. We looked like a small platoon going off to battle on the way down to these places. But when we got there, this huge boar that must have weighed 1,000 pounds was in a small, narrow, oblong stall alongside a barn, and we were supposed to get in there with ropes and tie this critter down and do our work on him. And we took after it with great enthusiasm and did, after quite a while, get it tied down, both front legs and back legs, and then maybe it was Marvin or one of these guys here takes the knife in hand to get in and do what has to be done. And the boar decides he's going to get up and get loose from the ropes. And he did. And once he did, he starts running back and forth up and down in that stall. And we're all taking refuge by climbing up and hanging on the rafters like a bunch of bats underneath the roof of that stall. Mr. Horn had to really use some stern language to get us down there, not the least of which insulting our manhood at being such cowards from that boar, until somebody led the charge and we got back down and got the rope back on him and consummated the deal. And that memory stuck with me for a long time.
1953.
I'd like to reinforce them. Is this working? I'd like to reinforce some things some others.
Hold it up close, Bob.
Others have said about the teachers, and add to those who've been mentioned, Ruth Giddings and DeWitt Medford. DeWitt Medford taught at Anonna before Box Elder, and both of those people had a great influence on many of us academically. The other thing I'd like to say also, what Bobby and Pam said, and someone else about the thrill of going from Box Elder to Anonna. Well, my class had an extra thrill. At Box Elder, we had one girl in our class of 11. We got to Anonna, and you've never seen so many girls. and Miss Lily one time told the girls at Anonna, the boys at Anonna, Don't worry, these girls will forget these box elder boys pretty soon. Anyway, the other thing, I'm going from box elder to Anonna. It was such a thrill to me to follow people like James Perry, Tom Peete, Charles Upchurch, Glenn Floyd, and to join the class of '54 in their athletic programs. That was such a thrilling event for us to take part in athletics. And this class had the first football team. They came back in 6-man football, right? Okay. Second year. Okay. Anyway, thank you a lot.
54, that is. We was talking about playing football. We had the toughest bunch of players there was. We went as high as you could go in 6-man football. Played our last game on Friday night in Finette below Beaumont. I came on back because I got my ankle messed up and got back at 6 in the morning. The team stayed in a motel or a barn or something, but they didn't get in until mid-afternoon, and we were playing our basketball tournament. They got there at halftime, and we went on and played that night, and they played football Friday night, basketball Saturday night, and we won the tournament.
There you go, Marlon. Now we're going to 52.
We came from Box Elder to Anonna, Jane and I did. And it was an experience. I remember Miss Ruth Giddings and Mr. B. Medford that Bobby was talking about. What I know about Miss Ruth Giddings is that Bobby, Billy Joe Sullivan sat behind me and he was looking over my shoulder when we were taking a test. And I got my paper back and I thought, I was good. But she had -5. It is just as bad to cheat as it is to help cheat. I remember that.
Are we in 1951?
Yeah. Class of '51 is a little short on numbers, but we're as long on memories as the rest of you. Every time the Box Elder boys got together and got to Anonna, we were having our fun. We didn't quite mix and mingle with the locals there at that point in time. But anytime a train came through, the Box Elder boys stopped, which was great entertainment to us. And consequently, the Anonna folks tend to poke fun at us. And it was deliberated at Box Elder whether we were even going to Anonna or not when our time came. But we made it, and we had fun.
Thank you. 1950.
Hey, Tom, I'd like you to stand. Where is he? All right. Hey, Tom, look this way.
Over here, Tom.
I want to tell you something that you never knew, and I'm glad that you did. He married Doris. We had a big, I grew up in Swanville, we had a big board arc tree in front of our house. I chased Doris around that board arc tree, sometimes as high as 30 minutes, and I never could catch her. You may sit down now, Tom. Another little story has to do with his wife, Doris. We rode the school bus from, I don't know where it came from, but we wound up in Anonna. Doris started out of the bus, and I had a safety pin in my hand. I poked her. When she got to school, Mr. Glaster was our superintendent. She told me. About 10 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Glaster says, James Edwin, come to the office. I've never been to the office. Hadn't done anything. I go down, and he said, did you punch Doris with a pen? Couldn't lie. I said, yes, sir, I did. He said, bend over. He had a paddle about this wide, and the hole was about that wide. I closed my eyes,
and just all of a sudden, he took a pin and buried it up to the pin. That's the last time I ever punched Dr. Ward. One memory that I had, this is a little bit dirty. We were getting ready to play Avery. Buddy Floyd, which I know most of you know, came up and put his arm around me. And I looked at him. He says, Perry, I want to tell you something. Don't ever eat peanuts before a game. He said, if you do, you fart sand. I remember that. That wasn't
James Perry and I, with Howard Horn teaching us how to play tennis, and we won the district over at some little school over there, Sims, James Boyd. We won the district in doubles. Then we went to Kilgore for the regionals. And you know, those boys down there knew how to play tennis. So we didn't do too well. But James Perry and I did wind up playing varsity tennis at East Texas State. And I played tennis until I was 55. How did you make it? This guy was also a great baseball, softball player, and so he was quite an athlete, and I was proud to spend all these years watching him perform. Oh, one other story I got. Glenn Floyd, he and I wound up in the Air Force. He was planning to be a pilot, but when he come around with, I guess it was the needles, while he was standing in line, boy, he saw that needle and he passed out. They said, you can't fly. So he wound up in traffic control. You know, the guys that sit in the tower controls all these airplanes. That's what he did. And as luck would have it, I was flying F-84, I guess, up in Alaska. Glenn was on one of those remote controls, and every time we headed inbound, if we didn't get his okay, they sent somebody up to meet us. So, small world, you know, we all enjoyed this time in high school, but a lot of things happened after that. Kenneth Maroney and I served together at Bergstrom Air Force Base, in fact. So anyway, it's been a great deal, and I personally want to thank you and this committee that put this class, or the program on, and there's not going to be any criticism coming to me. This is great.
Any of the 40s, from 49 down?
I went to Anonna all of my life. Boy, I wouldn't miss a day of school. I liked it so well. And they kind of stole my thunder talking about, when y'all talked about having a gymnasium, we never had anything except a dirt court. And our basketball uniforms laid in the floor of the home economics room. And they were so old, about 25 years old, and they were red, and they had big bloomer legs on this big. And you had to carry them home and wash it, and your mother had sew cup towels on the inside of it to keep your bottom from showing. And we played Avery, and we played all around the cabin thing. About the kids coming from Box Elder, I don't know whether any of y'all are old enough to know, but the buses at first, now this may be before your day, was just a truck, and then it had a bed over the top of it that was homemade out of wood, just a box like this over it. And I remember those buses rolling in and us getting all these new kids. If you'd gone to school there all the way, it was great to get new kids to come into school because we were always there. And something a little bit ugly is Patricia's moved in and out, and Pat's moved in and out.
but my name was Patricia Jane. If they didn't call me Patricia Jane, that means the teachers, the principal, and the superintendent, I didn't answer.
Well, I had a nice visit with her when we found her. John Simmons said he couldn't find her. But anyway, anybody else?
I'd like to send the greetings from Merle Lum, class of 1939. He was planning to be here today, and he's in a home up in Lawton, Oklahoma. He called me a couple of days ago, says, I'm coming. I'll be there in Paris on Friday night and in Clarksville today. Well, I got a call yesterday morning, and he says, well, my son put a wrench into it. He wouldn't let this guy that volunteered to drive him down here, and his son was out in California. But Merle says he wanted to wish his regards to all of you, and he wished he was here to be with you today.
Okay, if there's anyone else,
sit down now.
Coach Beard, girls basketball coach, and he was awesome. We loved him.
she's talking about Coach Scooter Beard. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
I have never missed a reunion. The first one we had was down in Anonna, out in the open, on the football field where everybody played six-man football, and teachers from years before that I had never heard of. His cousin, Emmons Williams was one, and his wife came from DeKalb. We had a tremendous one. At that time, I cannot remember who the leader was for it, but I want to thank Hubbard McDuffie, Eugene Simmons, who I call Crockett, and you for putting forth the effort to bring all of us together.
Well, thank you.
I have one thing I want to say about Scooter Bear. I'm probably loud enough. I can be loud enough. But I'll tell you how he resolved conflict. We had two guys, that weren't getting along, threatening each other and all that. They had to sit separately. And after school, or after dinner or whatever, they put on box clothes and met. And the whole school got to watch them beat up each other.
Thank you, Pam.
They were friends after that.
Leland, just state your name and tell us where you live. Tell us where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Beeman Lawler. I graduated in 1958, and I went to Riverside and started school out there, and I met a girl in college, and I didn't get back.
You must have liked it out there.
Well, I guess.
It may have been a girl. But anyway, I want you to know, Beeman, how much we appreciate your loyalty to this homecoming. And just a small token for being the one that came the farthest, we will present you with this gift certificate. Okay? We appreciate you. You set a good example for the rest of them that live close.
Well, I graduated when I was 16 years old in May, and then I turned 17 in June. So I graduated young.
Well, listen, what we is.
To be 93 years old.
She just said she was 93 years old. Listen, Deanie could tell some real stories on me if I let you get started. But anyway, is there anyone that's going to beat Deanie on that?
Class of 41.
41.
She's almost 94.
Yeah. And I told my wife the other day, my wife was complaining about having to clean the house, and she and I are both 74, to tell her age, but she's too tired to clean the house. I said, just call Deanie. She'll do it. Anyway, Deanie, can you get up and come up here? Yeah. Well, I'll come to you. You want? Nancy Goodwin's got something for you. Well,
We planned this, I made sure she got you up here.
Jan, can you come up?
I will.
Jan, you want to come up here? We're going to let you have the honor of painting the song.
I don't have to have it on, can't see.
Well, she might.
See, I'm old to have to wear a sweater. There it is.
Don't stick her. Hey, listen, while she's pinning that on her, some of you know Dud and I lost our sister last week, but we was down at the cemetery in Gillum community, and it was pretty far down there, so we didn't have a lot of people go down there, but some people gathered there. Here comes Dingy driving up in her own car, zip in there about 90 miles an hour, and got out and come in there, and boy, that's something to be 93. I hope I get around like that when I'm 93. We love you, girl. You got a nice, lovely family there.
I just want to say what a blessing that I was given to graduate from Anonna High School from Ms. Roger Jo Hanson. For 2 years, she picked me up at the Dairy Mart, brought me to the square, let me off, because I was living with my grandparents. And she was the greatest blessing that I ever had, because she knew I wanted to graduate from Anonna School. So I bless her greatly. She was my rock of salvation.
She was a sweet lady out here. Let me talk a little bit while Ramona's kind of getting ready with Ryan here, and I want you all to kind of stand when we sing this song. Let's really get into it. Chuck and Ryan has put the music, our theme song, put the music to the song. So we're going to try to see what we can do with it. I want to do one more thing. I want my wife to stand up. I got the thing. Everybody see her. Look at her. That's the hardest working woman I believe I've ever seen. As far as she pitched in on this, she's a Clarksville graduate. But hey, she worked harder on this thing, and I forgot her a while ago. And also, Cynthia and Chuck came all the way from Centersville, Georgia. We worked us in a schedule for him to play several songs for us. And they pitched in yesterday. That lady back there worked hard, just like it was her own reunion. And I slipped up and didn't have her on my list a while ago. Okay, Ramona, you tired of standing? You and Ryan? All right, let's all stand. And let's sing like we got to beat them all tonight. Don't leave yet. We got this thing until midnight. But I know some of you need to go. But hang around. I promise you, hang around and listen to Chuck sing. He's a type singer that you'll love his singing, and you can hear every word he says and sings. That's the type singer he is. And you'll be pleasantly surprised. You got to hear him. Thank you, guys.
I've been in every state in the Union, highways north and south, east and west. I've been Rocky Mountain High, seen blue Montana skies. Texas is the place I love best. There's movie stars way out in California. They tell me Hollywood's the place to be. Well, I can't trade my howdy, y'all, for some make-believe. You just can't get the Texas out of me. You just can't get the Texas out of me. Lord knows there's been those who've tried. From Florida's sunny beaches to Georgia's pretty peaches, nothing's ever really caught my eye. They make good country music up in Nashville. I got the blues in Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, I did. There's nothing like twin fiddles when they're playing Texas swing. You just can't get the Texas out of me. Oh, Michael. Oh, Mike Baker now. Oh, now Douglas. Oh, pretty wonder. You just can't get the Texas out of me. Lord knows there's been those who've tried. From Florida's sunny beaches to Georgia's pretty peaches, nothing's ever really caught my eye. They make good country music up in Nashville. I got the blues in Memphis, Tennessee. There's nothing like twin fiddles when they're playing Texas swing. You just can't get the Texas. You'll never get the Texas. The way to get the Texas out of me.
Y'all probably notice I'm really hoarse. But anyway, I put one of his songs on my album because I just wanted to honor him, and I thought I'd try to do the same.
You make my eyes run over all the time. You're happy when I'm out of my mind. You don't want me, and you won't let me be. Don't you ever get tired of hurting me. Think I look back with a smile, for you haven't let me wear one in such a long, long while. Still I keep running back. Why must this be? Don't you ever get tired of hurting me? Someone must have hurt you long ago. Why take revenge on one who loves you so? You won't love me, and you won't let me be. Don't you ever get tired of hurting me. I look back with a smile, been such a long, long while. Still I keep running back. Why must this be? Don't you ever get tired of hurting me? Don't you ever get tired of hurting me?
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry I forgot to hear. I just spent too much time talking to everybody. Here's one of those real good.
Now all the boys that work my shift down at the factory say I got away with the ladies and they're all-time betting on me. Yeah, I've used and abused what the good Lord gave me, and I'm tired of keeping score. I just can't one night stand it anymore. Well, I just can't one night stand it anymore. Every hound dog has its day. My little black book's run its course. Well, I would meet 'em, love 'em, and leave 'em. Close the deal on that old dance floor. I just can't one night stand it anymore. I was out on the prowl last Saturday night. I was dancing with 3 or 4. Oh, but you walked in and my head started spinning and my feet couldn't feel the floor. Oh, just one look was all it took. I never felt like this before. Now I just can't one night stand it anymore. Said I just can't one night stand it anymore. Every hound dog has its day. My little black book's run its course. Well, I would meet 'em, love 'em, and leave 'em. Close the deal on that old dance floor. Now I just can't one night stand it anymore. I would meet 'em, love 'em, and leave 'em. Close the deal on that old dance floor. Now I just can't one night stand it anymore. Daddy, would you tuck me in and tell me a story of way back when you were just a little boy like me? Was Grandpa big and strong like you? Did he teach you how to tie your shoes? Just like the way that you've been teaching me. They don't stay little long enough. Too soon, my little boy, he's all grown up. One day he's climbing big tall trees. Next thing I know, he's taller than me. Watching him become a man is tough. They don't stay little long enough. I watched him shoot his first big buck, taught him how to drive my old pickup truck. Wherever you'd see him, well, you'd always see me. Just yesterday we were pals and best friends. Tomorrow I'll be his best man. Now she has his heart, I have memories. They don't stay little long enough. Too soon, my little boy, he's all grown up. One day he's climbing big tall trees. Next thing I know, oh, he's taller than me. Watching him become a man's been tough. They don't stay little long enough. Lord, I ain't complaining, 'cause you bless me so much. But they don't stay little. Why can't they stay little? They just don't stay little long enough.
No, I don't stay at the hospital.